The WWF, what the world is watching. Turn it on and rip the knob off.
Guys, and welcome back to the Wrestling Memory Grenade, now at episode 166, as this week we kick off December TV for 1988 in the World Wrestling Federation. I am Ray Russell, and guys, we've got several weeks of TV here in December, but we're not too far away from the new project, new year of 1989, and right around the corner, the Royal Rumble, the first ever pay-per-view version, 30-man edition of the Royal Rumble upcoming in just, well, about 6 weeks' time here in WWF World. And right now, guys, we're going to jump back in time, going to kick off the month of December TV, heading off for some superstars of wrestling. All right, away we go. December 3rd, Superstars of Wrestling, tape back November 15th, San Francisco, California, at the Cow Palace, the famous Cow Palace of years gone by, the old Roy Shire territory. And now, Vince McMahon coming through town. And speaking of Vince, he and Jesse Ventura on commentary here, as we hear from Ted Luff, who was the operations manager of the Cow Palace at the time, welcoming everybody back, welcoming back the World Wrestling Federation and, of course, the WWF fans. As we head off to the ring, opening bout, going to see Brutus the Barber Beefcake take on Chuck Campbell. Ventura on commentary reminding us that Brudi, he's home. He's made it home here. San Francisco, California, the hometown of the character Brutus Beefcake. Vince McMahon wanting to move past that. Well, Brutus is well known around the world, pal. Basically, is Vince's comeback here. So apparently, I guess these guys' hometowns really don't matter. As we get an insert promo from the Outlaw Ron Bass, along with, yes, Miss Betsy and even the Maverick brothers are there, all looking to permanently put the Barber out of competition. Now, you guys remember we were going into SummerSlam back in August of '88. The Outlaw put the Barber on the shelf momentarily, but Beefcake has been back for a while. They've been going at it on the house shows, and upcoming here in just a few weeks' time, they're going to go at it right there on NBC Saturday night's main event. We're going to build to that. But for now, Outlaw's still on the trail of Beefcake, and I might add that I'm sure the Barber hot on the trails of the Outlaw. They will find each other again very soon. As we continue on, well, nothing to see here in the matchup. It is a normal Brutus Beefcake squash. Super green Chuck Campbell, as you can tell if you go back and watch this matchup, runs smack dab into the sleeper hold. Brudi going to get the win 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and a haircut does follow. As we head off now, guys, it's time to hear from Mean Gene Okerlund, an update talking about the most recent edition of Saturday night's main event involving a WWF Championship match when the champ himself, Randy Savage, battled Andre the Giant, going back to last weekend on NBC.
The pages of the World Wrestling Federation magazine. Here's Update.
All right, hi again, everybody. I'm Gene Okerlund. Recently, in front of a national television audience, the moment for Jake the Snake against ravishing Rick Rude, when who should show up but Andre the Giant. And by the way, during the course of that one, I got the feeling that Andre the Giant wasn't totally comfortable being around snakes. Then, last week, on Saturday night's main event, oh boy, here's the big opportunity for Andre the Giant against the Macho Man Randy Savage, the World Wrestling Federation champion, when who should show up but none other than Jake the Snake Roberts with Damien. And let's go to that footage as we join the action in progress.
He can't even walk!
An already volatile situation has had fuel added to the fire with this most recent incident. And by the way, we just got comments this week from Bobby the Brain Heenan, who's the manager for Andre the Giant.
Jake, you cost us the championship. You have no business at ringside, no business interfering in anything that doesn't belong to you, and it's none of your business. You brought that snake to ringside.
Don't say snake. Don't say snake. But Jake, if you want to come in the ring, you welcome anytime you want. But don't take that thing with you, okay?
I will not be responsible for what happens.
Well, there's the story. Jake Roberts arriving ringside with sack in hand. No, guys, not that sack. Get your minds out of the gutter. I'm talking about Damien hiding him under the ring. Paranoid. Andre the Giant, more worried about where Damien was than finishing the match with Randy Savage and winning the WWF title. Bobby Heenan finally finding Damien under the ring, but Jake Roberts back to save his snake. And, of course, that leads to the disqualification. Randy Savage going to retain the title, and Andre essentially screwed out of his WWF championship, or so he thought. So we heard a promo there from Bobby Heenan and the Eighth Wonder himself. He says that Jake Roberts cost him the title. Revenge on the mind of the Giant. Bobby Heenan will not be held responsible for what happens to the Snake Man. As we continue on, Canadian strongman Dino Bravo with Frenchie Martin in his corner taking on Ricky Attacky. And another quick squash here as they spend much of the match putting over the Duggan Bravo feud. Airplane spin going to set up Attacky for the side suplex, or as Jesse Ventura calls it here, the American Slam. Interesting. I get the feud, but that didn't really catch on, did it, Jess? Either way, Dino Bravo scoring another quick victory, 1 minute, 33 seconds. As we hear from Sean Mooney up next, promoting the Royal Rumble event in a quick bumper, then it's back to the ring for the former king, I suppose. I wouldn't say that to his face. But it's Harley Race out here taking on Jim Gorman. And to be clear, Harley is not announced, guys, as the king, though the crown is still on his trunks. Vince going to sell it here like Harley Race looks to be king once again, however, then turns around and ponders if Bobby Heenan is managing both Harley Race and King Haku. Dilemmas, Bobby. We get an insert promo from Haku himself, who promises that Harley will bow and kneel at his feet because Haku is king now. Well, you can't really argue that when you're talking to Haku, but you can't really argue that when you're talking to Harley Race. Wouldn't it be something to see these two get it on and battle for the crown? As the action continues, Harley Race with a nice belly-to-belly suplex right out of the gate, and then it's a nice pile driver. Follow that up with a knee lift, and the fisherman suplex, no bridge, gets the win for handsome Harley, 1 minute and 44 seconds. And somebody should tell Harley Race that Kurt Hennig, he's got the fisherman suplex now, but again, it won't be me. Now, it was noted in the Wrestling Observer, per Dave Meltzer at the time, who attended this Cow Palace event. He said Harley Race did an untelevised pre-match promo saying that he wanted to regain his throne from King Haku, and that Bobby Heenan never visited him or contacted him while he was injured, down and out in the hospital or convalescing at home. So obviously this was to elicit some type of a babyface response from the crowd. Sadly, if you go back and watch this, little response at all. And what there was mainly boos, heel heat for Harley Race. No sympathy on the former king. The fans not really understanding maybe that Race just basically denounced the Brain. But he's looking for revenge. He's looking to regain the crown. He says he never abdicated. That was Bobby Heenan's choice. And Harley Race gunning for that. And where does that leave Bobby? We're going to have to hear what Heenan has to say about that in the future weeks. But right now we go off to the event center. Sean Mooney's standing by. We're going to hear from the likes of Danny Davis back with Jimmy Hart. Is that for real? Also, we're going to hear from Arriba, Tito Santana.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Event Center. I'm Sean Mooney. Just what does it take to become a World Wrestling Federation referee? Well, first of all, you must know wrestling inside and out. You must be honest. Well, the man we have standing by, many people may question whether or not he was all those things. He was indeed a referee, and now he is a wrestler. He's Dangerous Danny Davis.
Dangerous Danny Davis, baby. Undefeated in the World Wrestling Federation. You know, Danny, if these people out here think that 1988 was big, why don't they see what I've got in store for you for the new year, baby?
Jimmy, what have you got for me for 1989? Is it better things? Is it bigger things?
Big,
am I going to the top this year? Is this the year?
Big. This is it, baby. You know, we've got a big secret that we're going to tell everybody. Not today, maybe
Jimmy,
not next week, but in the future
Jimmy.
to come, about this new trainer we've got coming in to train Dangerous Danny Davis.
That's right. We made one mistake. We let the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, teach me to wrestle, and I've had to do it all on my own. Now, the mastermind, Jimmy Hart, Has a big surprise for everybody. A new trainer for Dangerous Danny Davis. More trouble for the people who want to wrestle me.
Number one.
Well, Dangerous Danny Davis joined there by his manager, Jimmy Mouth of the South Heart. And I don't think they're very close on this win-loss record. I believe they're mistaken. I think they should give President Jack Tunney's office a call. I'm sure they can clear it up for him. Tito Santana, he has been working hard, making his way in singles competition. Right now, he is standing by.
You know, I've always talked about how important wrestling fans are to a wrestler. Thank the Lord and all the wrestling fans throughout the country that have given me the support. There was a lot of doubt in people's mind what was going to happen to Tito Santana. Well, I've erased all those doubts. There is no doubts. I have an open contract for anybody. Greg Valentine, you're the number one on my list, and I can just keep on naming names. I'm going to make you a promise to all the wrestlers. Tito Santana going up to the top. No one dare to stop me. Arriba!
Tito Santana, he feels he has a lot to be thankful for here in the World Wrestling Federation. He thanked the good Lord and all the many, many fans he has out there that have supported him over the years, and he has really overcome some odds. Losing both the Tag Team Championship and his tag team partner at WrestleMania 4, and now he has a score to settle with Greg the Hammer Valentine, and he plans to do it very soon. Right now, it is time to feel the power of the WWF. Stay tuned. It's coming at you.
All right, we heard from the undefeated, Danny Davis appears to be back with Jimmy Hart heading into 1989. How about that? I didn't remember that. They said they made the mistake of being trained by the Hart Foundation. Danny Davis trained by the Hitman. But this time, Jimmy Hart has a new trainer in mind for Dangerous Danny. And they kind of play this up. They're not going to announce who it is yet, but they will in the upcoming weeks. Now, spoiler alert, we're never going to get there. And I don't know if this was just a really weird generic promo or if they really had something in mind to throw Jimmy Hart back with Danny and then kind of mention a trainer coming into it. Leaves me very curious what the idea might have been. I wonder if Danny recalls this. We'll have to try to get a hold of him on the side and get some answers. Mr. Ariba Man himself talking about Tito Santana, who appears to be gunning, an open contract out there, but specifically name-dropping former nemesis Greg the Hammer Valentine. Isn't that fun? Also, speaking of Santana, the Nintendo Entertainment System presents Tito Santana and his flying forearm. Now you're playing with power. Fun little advertisement there for the World Wrestling Federation on NES. And then it's back to the ring tag team competition, the Hart Foundation, taking on Barry Horowitz and Iron Mike Sharp. Fun little heel tandem there. We get an insert promo from Jimmy Hart here, who announces that the Fabulous Rougeaus are officially moving to Memphis, Tennessee. They will soon be true All-American boys. All right. As the action gets going in the tag team contest, the Hosses going to start this one out. It's the Anvil, Jim Neidhart and Iron Mike trading some blows. Sharp with a very low leapfrog, but he does get over. Turns into an Anvil forearm, however. Even the 300-pound Mike Sharp can't sustain an Anvil-like forearm. Takes Sharp straight down to the mat, and he's going to tag in Barry Horowitz. Both men getting tossed around the ring by the Anvil before in comes the Hitman, Bret Hart, tagging and drop-kicking Barry over the top rope and out to the floor, and then once back inside, Horowitz running into a Bret Hart boot in the corner, followed by a nice setup backbreaker, and then from there, it's Barry Horowitz suffering the heart attack, giving the Hart Foundation the win, 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and straight back to the event center now. Sean Mooney going to talk with, another Hart family member, talking about the Blue Blazer. Also, we're going to hear from Bobby Heenan and his latest family members, the Brainbuster.
And we are back at the World Wrestling Federation Event Center. A newcomer here to the World Wrestling Federation. He is the Blue Blazer, and he has impressed a lot of people. Although not too many people know very much about this man, his moves will astound you. Some believe his background is from Europe. But one thing is for sure, he is on a roll here in the World Wrestling Federation.
The Blue Blazer, he's quick as a laser and sharp as a razor. And when I step in that ring, I gotta apply every one of my acrobatic moves because there's a lot of tough guys in the WWF. And I'm aiming to be the very best in the WWF. And that means beating guys on the bottom and working your way right up to the top. And that's what I'm doing. I'm undefeated in the WWF. And I aim to be the best that I can be. Now I got an arsenal of acrobatic holds that'll razzle them and it'll dazzle them. And I know a lot of that stuff that I do in the ring is crazy. But I'll tell you something, it pays off when you do that crazy stuff. You can knock them dead in that ring, and that's what I aim to do. So anybody who steps in that ring with the Blue Blazer, you better give it your best shot, because the Blue Blazer, he's giving it his best shot, and I'm on fire right now. I'm ready to take on the world.
The Blue Blazer ready to take on the world. Well, he will find some tough competition right here in the World Wrestling Federation. One of the new superstars here in the World Wrestling Federation, and one to keep your eye on. The Brainbusters. They are the newest addition of the Heenan family, and right now they're standing by with Bobby Heenan.
You know, you talk about the Rockers, you talk about the Stallions, the Hearts, Demolition, Powers of Pain. You can go on and on and on. But ladies and gentlemen and humanoids, I've got the best thing going right here.
You know, Bobby the Brain Heenan, when he didn't have a tag team for a long time, I remember Gorilla Monsoon always trying to dig at you. But you went out and you found the best, one that deserves the name Heenan family around it. And that's Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson.
They've called us a lot of things in the past. The bottom line is they say we're overachievers. What we are two guys that are pulling for the same goal. We are the consummate team, poetry in motion. We're not going to drag the Heenan family down. It's going to be cement on the dynasty.
Well, Bobby the Brain Heenan quite impressed with this pair he has now added to the Heenan family, the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. Now, Heenan named all the competition out there. The Brainbusters will certainly be tested, and there is no lack of confidence between those two. They share a common goal. They want to become the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions.
Well, he's quick as a laser and sharp as a razor. Well, pretty generic promo there from Owen Hart, but what you going to do when you're stuck in this gimmick? The Blue Blazer flying high right now. Meanwhile, Bobby Heenan there with his Busters, Arn Anderson calling them the cement and the foundation of the Heenan family. So aptly put there from Arn and Tully, who are gunning for, well, every tag team in the WWF today. Look out, guys. And speaking of tag teams, up next, we get our very first Bushwhackers vignette. And there they are, Mean Gene Okerlund attempting to interview Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers, who are too busy eating sardines out of a can, getting the fish and the juice all over their bodies. Mean Gene a little disgusted here as we hear the famous whoa and yay. Welcome to the WWF, I suppose. Luke and Butch, ladies and gentlemen, the Bushwhackers have arrived. As we continue on, we go back to the ring singles competition. Going to see the African Dream, Akeem, with manager Slick by his side, taking on, hey, here's a fun one, Louis Spicoli is the opponent here this week, and we get a lot of dancing and clubbering here, if you will, from the African Dream. Gourdbuster going to set up Spicoli for Air Africa, the big 747 splash. Another quick win this week. Akeem goes over just 1 minute and 20 seconds. So lots of quick squashes this week, but we have a lot going on at the same time. And right now we go off to the Brother Love show, and his guests, the WWF champion Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth, no doubt the Macho Man, has something to say about Bad News Brown.
Now, Brother Macho. Last week, Bad News Brown was here on the Brother Love show, and he brought up some interesting points that I would like to address. Number one being that WWF President Jack Tunney is protecting the Macho Man in that gold belt by hand-picking, hand-selecting your opponent. Yeah, well, you know, I do believe that to be true. But you know something else he brought up that maybe the president of the World Wrestling Federation is maybe in the back pocket of the Macho Man. Maybe a few kickbacks are going the way of the President Jack Tunney. Yeah. Well, I do believe that could indeed be the case. But you see, the most important accusation that I would like to address right now is to you, Miss Elizabeth. What favors are you doing for WWF President Jack Tunney?
Whoa! Randy, I'm gonna do you a favor, yeah. I'm gonna let you exist, because you're out of line, Brother Love. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? No, you just shut up. And I wanna talk to Bad News Brown. I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna give you the favor that you want. I'm gonna give you the title shot that you want so bad. But it's nothing that you should be happy about. It's something that you should be very, very sad about. Because you insulted the manager of the Mega Powers. And when you did that, that is something that I can never forget. And that is something that I will never forgive. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Bad news for bad news.
All right, we kick off the Brother Love show this week. We were reminded of the clip from last week, the confrontation between Bad News Brown and President Jack Tunney, as well as the accusations that Bad News made towards the Macho Man, and even more so towards the lovely Miss Elizabeth, doing favors for Jack Tunney. Now, lots of questioning here by Brother Love to Randy Savage, and then Love taking the microphone back, not allowing Savage to answer the questions. So Brother going to give his own take on the situation. All right. Before Brother Love turning his attention to Miss Elizabeth. I don't know if you want to go there, brother, but Love wonders if the stories of Liz doing the favors for President Jack Tunney are true. Elizabeth, well, she makes a great facial response here, shocked and appalled at even the mention of such a situation. And that's when Randy Savage snaps, immediately snatching the microphone away from Brother Love. Love being dropped down to his knees, begging off, backing off, as an irate Macho Man talking towards Bad News Brown, discussing the accusations and accepting the challenge laid out by the would-be challenger. Macho Man willing to give up the title shot in order to teach Bad News Brown a lesson after the disparaging remarks he made about the lovely Liz. Macho Man stating it is going to be bad news for bad news. We've got action between those two coming up very soon on the house shows, guys, so stay tuned for that, including some street fights heading into the new year. Fun times. Up next, it's a very interesting segment. We go to the ring. Singles competition once again. It's Ravishing Rick Rude out here with Bobby Heenan in his corner, taking on Nito Gomez. Hey, I've heard from Nito in the past. He's sort of a San Francisco wrestling historian, super fan back in the day, turned wrestler, it would appear here. Nito stepping in the ring with the Ravishing One. We get an intro spiel here, complete with the nod to the West Coast Walruses. Keep the noise down. Rick Rude going to take that robe off, show the ladies what he's got. We then see a Ravishing One promo, insert promo here, shilling his merchandise for the holiday season. Well, it is December. A poster of Ravishing Rick, as well as a brand new t-shirt. Vince McMahon also pushing a potential Warrior feud with Rick Rude, based simply on their physiques on the commentary during this matchup. It's going to be a nice gut buster, followed by a nasty Rude Awakening neckbreaker. Going to give Rick Rude the win, just 1 minute and 25 seconds. And this is where, well, it gets a little confusing, but it gets very interesting. At the same time, post-match, as you guys might suspect, it's time for the other Rude Awakening, as Bobby Heenan has handpicked, selected the lady. And out she comes, slightly thicker than we're accustomed to for Rick Rude, but nice curves as Jesse quips, "Now I know why they call it the Cow Palace." Which is, I mean, it's classic Jesse, for better or worse. He's a heel, trying to get the digs in. This lady's got a couple extra pounds, and honestly, I don't mind that body type. Now, to be fair, Rick Rude and Bobby Heenan in the ring never sold it like such. Rick Rude checked out her curves, in fact, as she spun around for him, and he seemed to be happy to lay her out with the ravishing smooch here. Again, Bobby Heenan proud that he picked her out of the crowd, but it was what Vince McMahon said that really shocked me.
McMahon, well, there you see the Rude Awakening and a quick victory for Ravishing Rick Rude. Now let's get to the real Rude Awakening.
To make some lovely lady happy with the Rude Awakening. Ready and willing, Bobby. Well, I have handpicked, I believe, another winner. Could she make her way to ringside?
This one Heenan has handpicked. Oh my goodness. Part of her dress is missing.
Here she comes.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll tell you one thing, McMahon. What? I now know why they call this the Cow Palace.
Can I pick him? Now, wait a minute. before we go any further, I gotta ask you a question.
Oh, no. What's the question?
You're not a bimbo like Cheryl Roberts, Jake the Snake
You
wife,
talking
are you?
Golden Guernsey or Black Angus?
Here, enjoy yourself.
Root better watch out with this one. You're not kidding. I'll tell you what, if he kisses her, he has more guts than I thought. He's giving her the once-over. I'll tell you what, you eat words, McMahon, because he's got more guts than you got. Whoa, I can't believe it. This man put it. Tested a fortitude. Just like Jesse said, they call it the Cow Palace.
I really don't even know what to say here. I'm not really sure what brought this on. Completely out of character for the babyface Vince McMahon, who just buries this poor lady on commentary. Like Jesse said, why do you think they call this the Cow Palace, pal? Basically calling this fan, this lady here, a cow. And I don't know if there's more to the story or what the fuck was going on here, but this might be the first time I've ever completely been disgusted with commentary since we started this 88 project. The lady, again, curvy in the backside, yes. She actually had a butt. What a crime. But it wasn't like she was fat otherwise. Maybe slightly thicker than the average lady that we see in these segments. But man, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what drew the ire of Vince McMahon here. Again, I don't know if something happened, an altercation, a situation, or what the story is. Roode and Heenan sold it just like any other female. Vince McMahon just burying her here on commentary, more so than Jesse Ventura. He's more of a man than me if he'll kiss her, pal. Oh. And of course, laughing at Rick Rude as if he's embarrassing himself by kissing this lady. It was just really, really weird. And we've seen Vince defend so many fans when Bobby Heenan or Jesse rips on them for missing teeth or being unkempt or having acne or maybe being much more overweight in the past. So this is just really peculiar, really weird. And if Vince knew this lady and he thought this was a way to play a prank on her, egad, man. But yeah, this obviously, absolutely, for the first time ever that I can recall, and we've seen a lot here, guys, on the grenade, but this is the first time I was just absolutely disgusted by the commentary. Obviously, you know, what we know now with Vince McMahon, that's needless to say, but we continue on, guys. I digress. Go back to the event center one last time for superstars. Sean Mooney going to talk with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
A lot happening here at the World Wrestling Federation, as you well know. But right now, let's talk about one individual in particular. He's the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He claims he always gets what he wants. And right now, he is standing by, and he wants to say a few things about what's going on here in the WWF.
You see, there's something that all of you peons out there watching must understand. And all you so-called wrestlers of the World Wrestling Federation have got to finally come to grips with and realize, which is what I've said from day one. There's nothing in this world that my money can't buy, and there's nothing in this world that my money hasn't bought in good time. You see, I always get what I want. It may take a little while, but eventually it all comes to me. Randy Savage, you're still running scared from the $1 Million Man. Running and running and running. Hulk Hogan, you're paying the price. You are paying the price through the efforts of the Big Boss Man at my direction. And you, Hercules, I've already bought and paid for you. You belong to me, and you will be subservient to the $1 Million Man.
$1 Million Man Ted DiBiase not exactly making friends here in the WWF. One has to wonder if he received a receipt for the purchase of the mighty Hercules. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, one proud American. Let's hear from him.
The land of the free and the home of the brave. That's what it's all about. The red, white, and blue, Old Glory. And so when old Hacksaw has us over his shoulder, I stand a little taller. I stand a little prouder, because this is what it's all about. The American flag, the flag that many men have given their lives, many women have sacrificed for. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan will not let no one come into this country and look down their noses at Old Glory. Not as long as there's blood in my heart and air in my lungs. I'll keep coming on. I'll keep fighting on. I will not waver. I will not quit. I will not stop until I run Tito Bravo, Frenchie Martin, out of here. Oh!
Well, the $1 Million Man having words for Hulk Hogan, who is dealing with, I guess he's kind of selling it as his hired hand, the Big Boss Man. And of course, the running scared Macho Man escaping title shots with Ted DiBiase, who only had about 6 to 8 months of them, mind you, but he's telling his story his way. And especially, let us not forget the current ongoing feud between DiBiase and the Mighty Hercules. Meanwhile, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, very pro-America promo, tough guy. Still coming for Dino Bravo and Frenchie Martin, those evil Canadians, French Canadians, I might add, as we conclude the show next week on Superstars. Hulk Hogan returning to the Brother Love show. Geez, can we find any other guests? Really? Come on, guys. Plus, in action, it's going to be Jake the Snake Roberts, Bad News Brown, the Red Rooster's going to be here, as well as Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Ted DiBiase, the Fabulous Rougeos will be here in the featured bout next week. Going to see Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, the Rockers, battle Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, the Brainbusters. Oh man, can't wait. And so as we wrap up Superstars with Survivor Series behind us and Royal Rumble ahead, the new year of 1989 and a new set of tapings has begun here with this episode. We see a lot of progress this week. After weeks of plateau, if you will, leading into Survivor Series, we see the Bushwhackers make their TV debut in their first interview, vignette, whatever you want to call it, introducing their, well, unorthodox yet lovable characters. I don't know. Acquired taste, I suppose. With the Royal Rumble now being promoted on commentary, we get some mention of a Warrior Rude showdown. Ditto for Harley Race and King Haku. And of course, the Hearts Rougeos still ongoing as well. And let us not forget now the Macho Man Randy Savage responding to the comments and accusations made last week by Bad News Brown. New feud for the Macho Man leading into the new year. Dig it! Aha! Well, we've got more TV to get into, guys, but first we're going to take this brief WrestleCopia timeout.
Hey everybody, Gene Jackson here, inviting you to check out the Retro Wrestling Review, where each week I'm joined by some great co-hosts who help me review classic episodes of USWA Championship Wrestling, and right now we are doing week-by-week reviews of 1993. But we don't just do reviews, sometimes we get a chance to interview some of the people who were there and lived it, plus do watch-alongs. It's a lot of fun, so check out new episodes that drop every Wednesday at WrestleCopia.com, and to find links to everything associated to the podcast, you can go to USWApodcast.com.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here, curator of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, inviting you guys to listen to many of the programs here as part of the WrestleCopia brand, including, but not limited to, the Wrestling Memory Grenade, currently covering the 1988 and the WWF project. You can also listen to the Regional Wrestling Podcast, where we talk the territories. You can also listen to the Wrestling Stoop with the legend himself, Bob Roop. But that's not all. You can also check out the Puro Wrestling Academy with the professor of Puro Resu, Mr. Dan Ginnity. Dan and I go back in time and cover the history of Japanese professional wrestling in the English language. And you can listen to all of those shows and more, all part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, located over at WrestleCopia.com. That's WrestleCopia.com, and anywhere your podcast streaming needs are met. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to our social media guys for all the latest goings on here at the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Plus, I'm constantly adding old school video clips and pictures from throughout wrestling history. You can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter, at Wrestling Grenade. That's at RASSLIN Grenade. Also, follow and like me, Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. And why not subscribe to YouTube.com/Wrestling Grenade. And of course, now would be a fantastic time to become a WrestleCopia patron over at Patreon.com/WrestleCopia. That address again, Patreon.com/WrestleCopia, where you get so many gifts, including all of my insanely detailed show notes for every episode of The Grenade Show, Regional Wrestling, and the Monday Warfare podcast. You'll also get early access to a lot of the podcasts here on the WrestleCopia brand, where you can listen days and sometimes as much as a week earlier than the rest of the listeners. But that's still not all, guys. You also get at least a dozen digital downloads for your viewing and reading pleasure each and every month, plus random bonus video drops, and of course, the Patreon exclusive watch-along series covering many past WWF and WCW events. And if that's not all, videocasts, also now a part of Patreon. No subscription, cancel anytime. Give it a try for a month, guys. I think you'll like the content that I offer, and every penny of it goes right back here into paying the bills. So if you're looking to support that next up-and-coming podcast brand, please consider making it WrestleCopia. Help me pay some of the bills to keep the WrestleCopia podcast network and all of the great shows here up and running for the months and the years to come.
This is Wrestling Nostalgia, the podcast that dives into wrestling history. Hey, wrestling fans, I'm Dave Dynasty, and if you enjoy podcasts that are knowledgeable and history-driven, then Wrestling Nostalgia is for you. With great guests and fun interviews, there are over 200 episodes in our archives. We chat with several first-time guests and often cover topics not discussed on other podcasts. Look up Wrestling Nostalgia on your favorite podcast platform and visit all of our links at linktree/WrestlePod. That is linktr.ee/RASSLEPOD. And remember, wherever you go, whatever you do, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.
All right, we be back as we head off now, guys, to Wrestling Challenge, December 4th, 1988. Here we are. It's Challenge for December 4th, tape back November 16th, Sacramento, California, at the Arco Arena. Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon on commentary here as we head off for tag team competition. It is indeed the Rockers taking on Steve Lombardi and Barry Horowitz. To get things going, we had an insert promo here from the Rockers, who are in fact tag team specialists. Woo! As the action gets going, good sequence here by Marty Jannetty and Barry Horowitz. Going to start things off. Fun double team action from the tag team specialist soon follows. As Shawn Michaels, though, going to find himself in the heel corner, but that doesn't last too long. Shawn going to work a headlock. Very peculiar, literally working a headlock on the mat in the middle of this squash match. Barry Horowitz going to escape with a nice back elbow and a knee lift, but it's back to the double teaming as the Rockers take down both heels this time, and the finish going to see the Rockerplex as Shawn Michaels hoisting Horowitz up in a vertical suplex. Jannetty coming off the crossbody for a nice double team move. Going to give the Rockers the win. 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Extended squash this week compared to the norm on TV. But if you were going to pick someone to do it with, the Rockers works for me. But again, that explains why there was a side headlock done in the middle of the matchup. But again, you wonder, why was there a side? Why did we need to go 5 minutes? Gotta fill the time, pal. As we head off now, special report, Lord Alfred Hayes, talking about the recent issues between Bad News Brown on the Brother Love show with the WWF president, Jack Tunney. They air the clip here from last week's Superstars Bad News, dropping Tunney to his knees on his keister. In fact, holding him by his tie, having him beg to the would-be challenger of the Macho Man. And right now, guys, we're going to go off to WWF president Jack Tunney. As promised, we're going to find out his decision on what he's going to do with Bad News Brown.
The outrageous behavior of Bad News Brown, abetted by the reprehensible Brother Love, drew these comments from Mr. Jack Tunney.
The recent unprovoked attack on this office by Bad News Brown will not be tolerated, and accordingly he is hereby fined the sum of $20,000. Along with the fine is an automatic suspension, whereby Brown would be banned from ever again wrestling for the World Wrestling Federation. However, Macho Man Savage has prevailed upon this office not to suspend Mr. Brown, and is adamant that the insult to Miss Elizabeth be avenged in the ring. For this reason only, Bad News Brown will not be suspended at this time.
Well, there you hear it from the president himself, alerting us that Brown has been fined $20,000. That's a lot of money, guys. It's about 80 grand in today's world. And Tunney apparently was initially going to suspend Bad News indefinitely from the company, but it was the Macho Man who stepped up and requested Tunney to hold off because Savage wants revenge on behalf of the lovely lady, Miss Elizabeth. Tunney electing to stop the suspension in favor of the Macho Man to get his revenge in the ring. Maybe he is getting favors. It's kind of weird there. I was going to suspend you for putting your hands on me, but I'd rather watch somebody maybe kick your ass, so I'll let you stay, Bad News. Kind of a weird presidency, but hey, it's pro wrestling, guys, right? Sports entertainment, pal. Whatever. We go back to the ring. Koko Beware, the Birdman, out here taking on Iron Mike Sharp. And Koko with a little stick and move to start things out, but misses a leaping attack, goes throat first into the ropes, which is a signature move by Ware, usually leading to his demise. But not this time. Sharp with some stiff-ass chops, well, you can hear him too, and a shot across Koko's head with that forearm band. I'm betting Ware's loving this one. Koko, though, fakes Sharp out with a reverse body block, lands a missile dropkick instead before landing a nasty Ghostbuster, Brainbuster, picking that 300-pounder Mike Sharp up, dumping him on his head, looking oh so fine. The Birdman getting the win, 2 minutes and 46 seconds. You know, we talk about all the things that the wrestlers brought to the ring, the 2x4s, the bull whips, the nightsticks, and Jake Roberts with Damien. He throws Damien out. What if Frankie could have been trained to shit on command? Could we have done that? Could we have had Frankie come on here and shit on the job guys after the matchup? Well, that would have been fun. And so we continue on, guys. We go off to the event center. Sean Mooney going to talk with the likes of the Doctor of Style Slick and his African dream, Akeem.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Mooney back at the event center. There's a changed man here in the World Wrestling Federation. He goes by the name of Akeem, but he is still 6'9", 457 pounds. And right now he is standing by with his manager, the Doctor of Style, Slick, and Slick is going to start it off.
Now, you know, I know everybody out there has heard the expression, what you see is what you get. Well, take a long, hard look. 483 pounds, 6 feet 9 inches, Daddy. He's coming right at you because the brother here is on a mission of mayhem. And we don't care who it is. Randy Macho Man Savage, Hulk Hogan, it makes no difference. All you got to do is sign the dotted line, step in the ring, and this man will whoop your behind. Right on.
You know what the problem is, brother? I don't believe half of these people know how to write.
That's trouble, huh?
Just step it on there and come on, and I'll beat the fool out of you.
Well, Akeem, joined there by his manager, the Doctor of Style, Slick, the architect behind the change of this man, Akeem. And I guess he is what you would call hip now. And just who is going to make a fool of whom? We'll see about that.
Well, Akeem offering the wrestlers of the WWF to sign the dotted line. Brother Akeem ready to take on all comers as we head into the new year. And speaking of the new year and new talent, we saw him on Superstars. Now here's another vignette featuring the Bushwhackers. This time Mean Gene talking with a duo in front of a soda pop machine. Mean Gene referring to it as soda here. They pull out some Yankee money, mate, and use it to grab a can to drink from. Yankee money, you gotta love that. And as they grab their pop can, Butch, not understanding how to open it, turns it upside down, turns it right side up, giving it a funny look. But that's when Luke takes out his fake teeth. Holy shit, Luke with a full set of teeth, even if only for a moment. Unbelievable. Bushwhacker Luke here with a set of teeth. I'm still marveling at that. But he takes them out of his mouth and uses them to pop the lid on the can of cola. The Bushwhackers enjoying some carbonated caffeine as we get lots of mugging for the camera, which we will be accustomed to in the months and even years to come. The Bushwhackers are here, people. I've said it, and I feel like I'm going to keep saying it here until we see them in the ring. Speaking of the ring, that's where we're headed now. Outlaw Ron Bass taking on Louis Spicoli, the future Rad Radford, the future, well, Louis Spicoli in ECW, WCW, and he's going to do some jobs here for the WWF for the next several years, especially on the West Coast. And let's not forget about his run in Mexico as Madonna's boyfriend, Louis Spicoli down there in the AAA promotion early on as well. Is Spicoli going to surprise Ron Bass with a dropkick and an inside cradle early on, but the Outlaw puts it into that with a big clothesline and the pummeling going to follow. Texas Gourdbuster, the old Outlaw pedigree, if you will, going to get the win here for Ron Bass. 1 minute, 35 seconds. Quick squash. And post-match, Louis literally hung out to dry. Miss Betsy around the throat of Spicoli, and he's hanged over the top rope by that mean old nasty varmint, the Outlaw. As you might suspect during the matchup, tons of beefcake talk here, which makes sense. There was even a brief Brutus chant breaking out by the fans during the matchup. And we even see kids in the crowd wearing Barber merch. So maybe a little subliminal message heading into Christmas, but also making sure we have not forgotten the feud between Ron Bass and Brutus Beefcake. It's all coming to a head in just a few weeks' time, I promise, guys. As the Outlaw this week making short work of Loa Loa. As we continue on, we go back to the ring. The Red Rooster with Bobby Heenan in his corner. Rooster's opponent this week, Sam Houston. Okay, little two-stepping from Houston here. So he gets a little entrance, at least, sort of. Out next, though, is Terry Taylor, or better known now as the Red Rooster, with Bobby Heenan, his manager, which means Gorilla Monsoon going to go solo on commentary for this one. We also get an insert promo here from the Rooster, as he says Bobby Heenan gave him the confidence he needed in order to win his matches. Well, hate to break it to you, Terry, but you hadn't lost a match that I'm aware of before Bobby Heenan picked you up as manager, but yes, indeed, for the time being, the Rooster is still undefeated, to the best of my recollection. For all intents and purposes, anyway, that's the story we're telling heading into the new year. Sam Houston going to counter several slams early on, attempted by Terry Taylor, planting a knee lift on the Rooster before a flying head scissors and a Thez press. Going to get a surprise 2 count here for Samuel Houston. Rooster bailing out, and Bobby Heenan pissed off at his latest charge, having conversation with the Rooster on the floor. Bobby, well, not just a conversation, shouting at the Rooster. And with Terry Taylor pleading to the brain, Houston reaches over, grabs him by the hair, the feathers, yanking the Rooster back in the ring. Terry Taylor, though, quickly cuts Sam off with a swinging neck breaker, followed by a nice knee drop and a jawbreaker, putting Houston down. Taylor, though, going to telegraph a backdrop. Houston countering with a sunset flip, going to get himself a 2 count. Then Sam rebounding off the ropes, planting the Rooster with a big forearm smash. Again, Houston down, going to get him another 2 count. Rooster, though, able to turn the tide with an awesome Steve Austin-like stun gun. Remember those days, guys? Followed by the Scorpion Deathlock, or the cock of the walk here, as he calls it. Going to give the Rooster the fairly quick win, 2 minutes, 46 seconds submission win here by Terry Taylor. Fun TV match, and the best Sam has ever looked on syndicated TV. And in this particular role, that's not saying much, but Houston essentially being worked into a jobber to the stars on TV now, and Rooster almost losing to him repeatedly sort of shows you where Taylor is on the card as well. But what an awesome finish here. Great setup move, awesome stun gun, followed by the cock of the walk, the Scorpion, if you will. But seeing how those moves look cool, they'll probably take those from Terry next, along with his dignity. As we continue on, off to the event center, Sean Mooney standing by. We're going to hear from the Young Stallions. Haven't heard from them in a while. We're also going to hear from Greg Valentine and manager Jimmy Hart.
We are back at the World Wrestling Federation Event Center. You know how tough it is to be in tag team competition here in the World Wrestling Federation. Well, there is one tag team who's been on a roll as of late. They are the Young Stallions. They are Jimmy Powers and Paul Roma. And right now they are standing by. They plan to go all the way to the top. Let's hear from these two men.
You know, my partner and I, we call ourselves the Young Stallions. We've been together a little over 2 years now, and we've been wrestling the best. That's right, the best, because only the best wrestle here in the World Wrestling Federation. I'm talking about a team like the Bolsheviks, the tag team champions themselves, Demolition, and I tell you what, we've gone through them, and we'll go through anybody. Is that right, Jim?
That's right. Paul said we've been together for a couple years now. We've been scratching, we've been clawing to get to the level of that competition that we're at right now. We're not going to let anybody use us as stepping stones. We're going to use other people as stepping stones, because the one thing we want to do is we want to be the #1 tag team in the World Wrestling Federation. Because if you're the #1 tag team in the World Wrestling Federation, you're the best. You're the best in the world.
That's right.
Jimmy Powers and Paul Roma, they are the Young Stallions, and you must admit, they do indeed have the determination to make their way to the top and challenge the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, Axe and Smash, for the title. Right now, Greg the Hammer Valentine is standing by with Jimmy Hart. He has a few comments.
This is Greg the Hammer Valentine, the greatest, baby.
That's right, Jimmy. Me and you both know it. And there's a lot of other people around here that know it, but they won't admit it. That Greg the Hammer Valentine is the greatest wrestler in the World Wrestling Federation today. I should have all 3 of the championship belts around my waist right now. But they won't give me a title match. But sooner or later, they're going to have to, Jimmy. And right here, this is what we're all talking about. And we know it. This is my road to the gold. latched on to the figure 4 leg lock. There is nobody that can get out of it. And though I may have an injured leg, I am still going to use that figure 4 leg lock to my advantage. It's the road to the goal.
Joined there by his manager, Jimmy Mouth of the South Heart. Greg the Hammer Valentine, he believes he's on the road to the gold. He says he should have captured all 3 belts. He should worry right now about capturing just one, and he plans to take his figure 4 leg lock along with him all the way to the top. We'll be back with more action right after this. Stay tuned.
Well, it looks like Jimmy Powers and Paul Roma currently thrown back together again. They've been working the Brainbusters on the house shows for the last month or so, but they'll be separated again by the time this promo airs, I do believe, so it is what it is. We also hear from the Hammer, who thinks he should have all 3 title belts. He's been a former IC champion, a former tag team champion. Hey, why not the big gold? The one held by the Macho Man, as the Hammer shows off his Heartbreaker shin guard, which he plans to use to take him to the top. Then it's back to the ring, sort of, for a special treat. I guess you could call it that. No, we go back to the November 26th Saturday night's main event, and we get the Ultimate Warrior matchup in its entirety. Yes, all 2 or 3 minutes of it. It's the IC champion, the Warrior Man, dominating Mr. Fuji's Super Ninja. Scoring the win, we get to see that here on Wrestling Challenge. They bill it as the first Intercontinental title match in Saturday night's main event history. I don't know about that. I have to go back and check that one out, but they claim a lot of things here around this time period that if you just do a little bit of research, not so true. As we continue on, it's Mean Gene's turn to promote the Royal Rumble. Quick bumper ad here for the big 30-man over-the-top rope pay-per-view coming next month, the new year of 1989 Royal Rumble right around the corner.
Sunday afternoon, January 15th, the World Wrestling Federation presents the Royal Rumble. 30 superstars battle it out. See it live from the Summit in Houston, Texas, 4 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on pay-per-view. Order now.
And as those quick bumper promos air, the promotion is in full swing. And we are in full swing here on Wrestling Challenge, going back to Mean Gene Okerlund, this time up on the platform. Special interview time with the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Mean Gene wants to talk Andre's obvious fear of snakes. Bobby Heenan shouts at Okerlund and accidentally saying the word himself. You shouldn't say snakes around this man. Andre stops them both. He doesn't want to hear that word. But he does want Jake in the ring one-on-one. Bobby Heenan uses that old wrestling reverse psychology then and tells the fans if they keep chanting snake during Andre's matches, Jake Roberts will be the one who pays. And Bobby will not be held responsible for what Andre does to the Snake Man moving forward. Andre just wants a singles match with the Snake Man. No Damien at ringside. We'll have to wait and see if that comes to fruition. As we continue on, we go back in time. We got to drill this home, guys. Another replay. Highlights from the double turn between Demolition and the Powers of Pain at Survivor Series. We even get a quick promo here from Mr. Fuji and his new team of the Warlord and Barbarian, the POP. They will listen to the master. They will obey. They will destroy, says Mr. Fuji. Ah, so. Fuji-san has himself a new team that will listen and follow his every demand. Axe and Smash could be in some trouble, guys, as we continue on. Back to the ring. One more matchup here on Challenge. Going to see Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. I guess you could call this the perfect way to end the show. Taking on Frankie Valdez. Insert promo from Hennig as he says all eyes are on Mr. Perfect and his perfect record, undefeated thus far here in the WWF, as Hennig in the ring eating up Valdez, running dropkick, and then it's the old axe, the big forearm blast right between the eyes of Frankie before the perfect plex, as they call it here, going to get the win. 2 minutes and 29 seconds, now called the perfect plex. Looking good is Kurt Hennig, but the crowd still not quite there for young Mr. P, but they will be. You can't deny greatness, guys, or in this case, perfection. As we conclude Wrestling Challenge, we go back to the event center again. Sean Mooney talking with Brutus the Barber Beefcake and this guy, Dino Bravo, and Frenchie Martin by his side.
Welcome back to the event center, the World Wrestling Federation, and that is exactly what it means. Competitors from all over the world participating, including Canadian strongman Dino Bravo. He claims to be the strongest man in the world. Right now he is standing by with his manager, Frenchie Martin. Let's hear from Dino Bravo.
USA! USA! All of you American heroes, the best of the cream, come forward. The strongest man in the world is ready for you.
That's right, you know. Everyone within the ranks of the World Wrestling Federation are going to soon realize that the fleur-de-lis is going to be the most respected flag in the world. Especially you, Americans. Especially you, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You have the nerve to come up here and face the world's strongest man. You'll have to face the consequences. And the consequences are going to be very hard on your nation. And you, Jim Duggan, nothing's going to stop the world's strongest man.
Canadian Dino Bravo, and if I'm not mistaken, he threatened not only Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but the United States as well. Right now, let's talk about Brutus the Barber Beefcake, strutting his way through the World Wrestling Federation. Let's hear from the Barber.
You know something? I just got a few words of advice for a few of you people out there. Like you, DiBiase, or you, Rick Rude. If you got the guts, or let's say, you don't have the brains, to step into the ring with a man who's maybe not quite all there, it's been said. But maybe on the other hand, maybe I know something that you don't. You see, they don't call me the barber for nothing, pal. I know how to use the tools of my trade, and I do it right, brother. Better than anyone else. That's me, the barber, Brutus Beefcake.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake from San Francisco, California. And I think it's pretty clear he's got one big bad Texan on his mind, and the outlaw Ron Bass. As you know, Brutus finds great pleasure in not only defeating his opponents, but giving them a close trim as well. There's more. Stay tuned. Don't you go away.
Well, Frenchie showing off the Quebec flag in that particular promo. Dino calling out Hacksaw Jim Duggan as only one flag will be held high when their war is over. Which one will it be? Will it be the Stars and Stripes of the USA or the Fleur-de-Lis of Quebec, Canada? Time will tell. The Barber also looking for one final showdown with the Outlaw. One final showdown. Maybe at high noon. Maybe at midnight. Maybe on NBC. We're getting close to the end, guys, I promise, of the Outlaw and the Barber. It's next week on Wrestling Challenge. In the ring, it's the Mighty Hercules, as well as the Big Boss Man, Tito Santana, Ravishing Rick Rude going to be here. Leave the cows at home, I suppose, right? Blue Blazer also in action, as well as the African Dream Akeem. And then we go back, again, another matchup from SNME, as we see the Fabulous Rougeaus battle the Young Stallions, all right here next week on Wrestling Challenge. And as we wrap up the grenade here this week, can't believe we're already here. We're off to the December 5th edition of the WWF's Primetime Wrestling.
Once again to our first Monday night here on Primetime Wrestling. This is going to be our regular time slot now, Brian. Did you know that?
Yes, I know that.
You're not happy about it, though, are you?
No, they keep moving me around. I get just locked into Mondays, then they move me to Tuesday. Then I change my whole life for Tuesday to put me back to Monday. There's no reason to do that except to mess up what I have to do during the week. That's all the reason they do it.
That too
But
bad.
I'll be big enough. I'll be above that. I'll be able to adapt and cope.
You should be happy. You should be thrilled. We're dedicating this program to you. This is the program that we're going to have your fan club on.
You're
Not my
dedicating
fan
this
club.
to me?
Your fan club. I didn't even know you had
bigger,
a fan club.
You better get a bigger studio then.
You think so?
I should have a lot of fans.
Have you seen the guests?
Well, if it's those two from 3 weeks ago on the boat, yeah, I've seen
you
them.
haven't seen the guests.
No.
Oh, you're going to be excited. You're going to be thrilled. I am. I know that.
Why, are they carrying bananas?
No. Why would they be carrying bananas? They're your fan club.
No, why would you be thrilled that they're my fan club?
Well,
You're
I'm
up to
thrilled
something,
because
Monsoon.
we've got an outstanding
Here
program
it comes.
lined up here for this
Get the rope and the
Primetime
horse.
Wrestling. Our feature this week is going to be Tito Santana against the master of the figure four leg lock, the Hammer Valentine. Both of these guys, in fact, have mastered the figure four leg lock, have they not?
Speaking of gifts, are they bringing me
We're not
Oh,
presents?
talking. What did I say? I didn't say anything about gifts.
Are they in the building?
Yes, they're here. Yes.
Are they near a monitor?
What?
You won't offend me with cash.
Oh, please, will you stop? We've got excitement galore. We've got the former Olympian who's going to start things off for us here this week.
Ken Patera, first man ever to bench press, military press, over 500 pounds over his head, and within a half hour made over 1,400 license plates at the state pen.
Guess who's going to be Brother Love's guest?
Brother Love's guest.
You won't like it. The Macho Man, Randy Savage, along with Elizabeth. But
I
right
wanna
now,
see this.
let's go to Big Outlaw taking on Ken Patera.
All right, here we go. December 5th, primetime wrestling, hosted as always by Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and we're back to Monday nights. That's right, you heard me right, guys. We've been on Tuesday for quite a while. It was Bobby who demanded the change in storyline purposes, but now we're back to Mondays, and Bobby can't seem to keep up. Gorilla Monsoon pushing everything hard here at the top of the program. And as we get the action rolling, we go back to the Cow Palace here, taped back November 15th in San Francisco. The Outlaw Ron Bass defeating Ken Patera in this exclusive matchup. Kenny thinks he has the match won. He gets up to celebrate, catches an Outlaw knee in the back, followed by an elbow drop. Ron Bass picking up the victory in just 7.5 minutes. And as we come back, Gorilla Monsoon has his own thoughts on the future, or lack thereof, of the Olympic strongman, Ken Patera.
Big Outlaw Ron Bass putting another notch on Miss Betsy.
That's a hell of a feat, defeating a man like Ken Patera.
Well, you saw what happened last week with Ken Patera. Now this week with Ken. Maybe he should seriously consider packing it in.
You can always go back to the yard with a stick and pick up paper.
Why don't you be serious?
Okay, he can make tin cups and yell at the screws. Okay, what do you want to talk about?
You going to be that way all this week? You know, I
Yep.
had plans for next week. I was going to take you on the road again. I don't know now.
Where to?
Well, I have some things cooking down in the Sunshine State.
Going to Alabama?
Florida.
Oh, I knew that. Of course.
Providing the hurricane doesn't do a lot of damage down there. Or did a lot of damage.
I know what you're going to do.
What is it?
You're going to try to take me around alligators. I know it. I know what you're
I
up
was
to
thinking
right now.
more in the line of a snake farm.
See, I know what you're up to right now.
Plenty more action headed your way this week here on Primetime Wrestling.
Well, Gorilla, we heard him say it last week. I think it was last week. And now he says it again this week that maybe Ken Patera should consider retirement. He doesn't seem to have it anymore. And I think we've been saying that for the last year at the very least. But Ken Patera actually finished up at the Survivor Series, this match taped prior to the pay-per-view. So they're jobbing him on the way out here for television purposes, which is fine. But Gorilla Monsoon burying Ken Patera on commentary the last couple weeks as he knows the guy is already gone from the company. Now, this next soundbite has us going back once again to this recent Saturday night's main event. We talked about it a little bit already. Jake Roberts essentially costing Andre the Giant the WWF title, at least according to Andre and his manager here, Bobby Heenan.
Serves you right, Brain. You and Andre both. You deserve that.
Serves me right. Boy, I hope they never call you for jury duty.
Boy,
serves me right. I never once left that corner. I never bothered Elizabeth. I never entered the ring. I never touched Savage. I never touched an official. I never jumped on the apron. I didn't do a damn thing.
That's a
but
lie.
No, he can. What did I do?
Am I mistaken? Do my eyes deceive me? Did you not run out there and grab the bag with
Yes.
Damien in it?
Yes, I
throw
did.
it over your shoulder and try to abscond with it?
Yes, I did. I sacrificed my own
Why
health.
didn't you
to do
say
it.
that you did that?
After
Admit
he
something.
came out there, Monsoon, after he walked from a dressing room area and into our match, yes, I picked up that bag, and I'd do it again. I worked all my life to manage a WWF champion, and a golden opportunity was taken from us because Roberts gets allowed to walk
Never
around.
happened, did it? Didn't happen, did it? Still searching the gold, aren't you? I can't believe that a guy that's 7'5" and weighs over 500 pounds can't stand a little reptile. Give me a break. We'll be back with more action right after this.
All right, the Brain going off on the Snake Man, basically costing Andre the WWF title at SNME. And of course, that's Bobby's take. That's Andre's take anyway. They did have a shot, a chance. And once again, Andre winning the gold, maybe this time holding on to it. You can't sell the belt, pal. With Jake Roberts randomly coming ringside and Damien finally coming out of the bag at the end of the matchup, it just wasn't meant to be for the Eighth Wonder, and Bobby Heenan none too pleased. The feud will continue on as we escalate this storyline heading into the new year between Jake Roberts and Andre the Giant. One final piece of business here this week in regards to the sound bites. Bobby Heenan was promised at the top of the show, he was promised last week, if you guys remember, that his fan club would be here this week. And here we go. We go off now to the debut of the Bobby Heenan fan club, the WWF debut of the Rosati Sisters.
Folks, as we promised you last week, some very special guests here this week on Primetime Wrestling, the Bobby the Brain Heenan fan club. Ladies, would you please come up? Oh, they're lovely. Good. Bobby, I'm surprised. I'm amazed. I'm impressed.
Obviously, the rodeo's
Would you
in town.
like to introduce yourselves, please?
I'm Diane Rosati.
I'm his sister Vivian. And I'm her sister Chris.
Oh, the Rosatis are here.
You're not
fan
the Flying Rosatis.
I don't think so, no. Not the Flying Rosatis.
They're not
this
my
is your fan club.
No, I'm sorry, dear. You get the wrong guy. You're not my fan club. Thanks for coming, though.
We are your fan club.
No, thanks for coming.
Wait a minute.
You guys go to a buffet and pull up a chair.
Gifts for you.
Yeah.
Gifts?
Yeah.
Bet your life.
Gifts.
Holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you must have a snake on you someplace.
No snakes. No snakes.
Cash?
No. Well, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Put it here, Toots.
Okay, well, first of all, for your great, ingenious brain that you have, we decided to give you a dingbat. It's cross-eyed, and it's got a big nose and buck teeth.
Oh, I love it. Look at that. Isn't that a beauty? The Dingbat Award. They recognized you.
Why don't you three go huff and puff and blow a house down?
We huff and blow you down.
Oh, now you're talking.
We also have a weasel nose for you, just for those times when the fans are on the side, you're shouting, "Weasel, weasel!" Make you feel right at home.
Oh, I like that. That would fit you too. Will you try it out?
No, I don't want to try it on.
Oh, go ahead.
This is my show. I don't have these three bimbos come out here and insult me.
Hey, this was a favor I'm doing for you.
Bring out these three wrecking balls. Why don't you go to a construction site and do some damage? Don't bring out here and talk to me. It's not funny, Monsoon.
Oh,
Come out here trying to insult me like this.
I think it is.
Okay,
I think
let's
they
go
got
to
your
the
number.
next match. Roll it.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll tell you when to roll it. You're not the host here. I am.
I'm the host here.
Yeah?
I don't know what's going on
When
here
are the rest
anymore.
of the crew coming in?
Well, also, because of your generous donation to the club, we decided to give you a nickel and have a night on the town.
Oh,
A whole nickel.
that ought to get you quite a ways.
I don't know where your hand's been.
And Gorilla.
Oh, yes.
We have a gift for you.
Oh, good. What is it?
As an honorary
Embalming
member of the As an honorary member of the Bobby Heenan fan club, we gave you a can of this.
Oh,
This is
look
when
at that.
he starts bragging about Andre
See
the
that, Brain?
Giant and the
Bull.
Brain Busters.
Repellent.
Yeah, I'm going to need a lot more of this. I'll need a couple of cases.
We can get you a couple of cases.
Oh,
No problem.
terrific.
No
Terrific.
problem.
We're going to have some further words with the Bobby the Brain Heenan fan
Oh,
club.
no, we're not.
But
They're
in the
not. You're
meantime,
history
we're going to
sisters.
go and take a look at
Back
Mr.
up the truck.
Perfect
They're ready to go home now.
and his opponent this week here on Primetime Wrestling, Paul Roma. Let's go to ringside.
My
I'll
program.
tell you what, Mr. Perfect has really impressed me this week.
I can't watch anything like that after that display right there.
I thought it was very becoming and very befitting.
Those three got more chins than a Hong Kong phone book.
Will you stop? Look at the nice things they gave you here. When
Yeah,
did you
I'm
ever
bad
get
at
nice stuff like that?
I got a lot of nice things in Beverly Hills. I got a lot of nice gifts on Rodeo Drive.
You did, huh?
You know the good thing about taking those three outings? Take them out. I can't even talk anymore. I'm so embarrassed. Take those 3
You're
out.
excited.
You can take them to Pizza Hut. You don't even have to cut it.
Please, will you stop? Three nice young ladies there with some bearing gifts at the gift-giving time of the year.
Was that cologne they had on, or somebody cooking ragu?
Oh, we've finally gotten to the Brain. How do you like it? You don't like it, do you?
What,
don't
can you
like it
imagine
when-
them getting dressed? Look like the Hindenburg in pantyhose.
Oh, will you stop?
Well, it's been a long time coming. We saw the debut of the Bushwhackers over the weekend, but everybody's favorite team, tandem, if you will, over the course of this weekend, may be the Rosati Sisters of Diane, Vivian, Christine there. Unfortunately, all ladies have since passed away, but what a fun time when they would randomly pop up on Primetime Wrestling. Super fans is what they were, and they became such super fans that Vince and company showed their appreciation by allowing them to be part of the act, if you will. From time to time, we'd even see them out there, some of the larger ladies on Monday Night Raw in the early years, holding up the cards. If you guys like it raw, if you know what I mean. So it's fun to see the Rosatis out here and cross-eyed. I love it. Just it's so natural, so pure, the comments coming out of there. And they were ready, you know, especially, who was that? Was that Diane? I can't remember who was doing the talking there, the most of the talking. It was just fun times. Bobby Heenan upset and obviously cracking his jokes in between. In a much lighter fashion than one Jesse Ventura or Vince McMahon earlier over the weekend. But the Rosatis have arrived. You never know when they're going to pop up next time. That's a fun time every time. I always got a kick out of it as a kid whenever they would show up, and I just wish I could have been one of those fans that just got to be on Primetime Wrestling, the studio, and get to talk to Gorilla and Bobby Heenan there. So such good times, guys. Great memories going back to my youth, seeing things like this go down. As we got another exclusive match, we saw Ron Bass over Ken Patera, also from the Cow Palace, on November 15th. It was the Blue Blazer teaming with Koko Beware, the future high energy. Oh, yeah. Koko and the Blazer over the Conquistadors. Match goes about 9 minutes before Koko scoring the win with a nice missile dropkick for the babyface team to go over there. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. The first week of December in the books. Just a few more weeks to go here in 1988, 1989. Here we come. Royal Rumble right around the corner, getting amped up, getting excited. Of course, WrestleMania 5, not too far off either. We all know what that means. We'll keep it under our hat for now, for the three people who may not know what I'm referencing in regards to the big main event, storyline angle and everything upcoming leading into WrestleMania 5. But for right now, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Again, want to thank you so much for being here, part of the Grenade, part of WrestleCopia. And I want to remind everybody to stop over to WrestleCopia.com. Check out all the great podcasts going on right there. Gene Jackson and crew getting ready to wrap up the Retro Wrestling Review for 1993 in the USWA, and they're heading back to 91 next there in the Memphis territory. That's going to be fun and interesting. Also, let's not forget tons of great projects at the Regional Wrestling Podcast from Memphis 77 to Memphis 85, from Georgia 82 to the old LaBelle territory, Los Angeles in the early 1980s. Plus, we're going to be finishing up Chicago, got more Chicago stories to tell, getting prepped and ready to begin our venture back to St. Louis there on Regional Wrestling, and so much more. The Wrestling Stoop with Bob Roop should return next week. Bob had an ailment recently, put him down for a week or so, but he is back. He told me he's feeling good, and we should be ready to go, ready to start rocking once again next week on the Wrestling Stoop. But for right now, guys, just a final reminder, a final plea, if you will, to please give us a chance over there at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. Try us out at the $5 all-access tier. If you're really into WrestleCopia and the video cast and the podcast and all the stuff that we do here, just for a few bucks more, talking about that VIP superfan tier. And if you are indeed the ultimate fan, well, there's in fact a tier for you, as it is the ultimate tier over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. So many video casts going up, so many great gifts from me to you as a thank you for helping us pay the bills and keeping this whole puppy going. Can't do it without you guys. Keep that in mind. And if you've been meaning to join the Patreon, now is a great time, guys. Heading into the summer, lots to listen to as you're out there cutting the grass, sitting back, catching some rays, floating around the pool, whatever you might be doing, guys. Hey, we still got to work, right? Lots of great podcasts and video casts coming your way each and every week as part of the WrestleCopia brand. I want to thank you again. Until next week, this is Ray Russell saying from pillar to post and coast to coast, you pull the pin, and I'll pick up the pieces right here on the Wrestling Memory Grenade. I'll see you next week. Don't miss it. Be there!
There is a new tag team of the World Wrestling Federation that certainly is stimulating interest. Slick, the Doctor of Style, the Bolsheviks, and many other tag teams very apprehensive about the arrival of the New Zealanders known as the Bushwhackers. Here they come. They're crazy. They're wild. They are Butch and Luke. They are the Bushwhackers.
Folks, as we promised you last week, some very special guests here this week on Primetime Wrestling. The Bobby the Brain Heenan fan club. Ladies, would you please come up?
Obviously, the rodeo's in town.
Would you like to introduce yourselves, please?
I'm Diane Rosati.
I'm his sister Vivian.
And I'm her sister Chris.
Oh, the Rosatis are here.
You're not the flying Rosatis.
I don't think so, no. Not the flying Rosatis.
Whoa, I can't believe it. Just like Jesse said, they call it the Cow Palace.